Very well, very well. Thursday, the 12th day of January 2023, a time that has been waited for quite some time. We've been waiting for this day. Actually, it's the very first program of the year, TASWIRA ya SIASA na UONGOZI, coming to you live from our studios. You are getting direct from our studios, and we in our mainstream, that is Signet, and also in YouTube and Facebook. From abroad with us, sleeping in some countries, some people are sleeping, but we know that all that we are doing and what we are going to do is going to really touch you and educate you. Today is a day that we want to kick off a series of talk that many countries, precisely in Africa, have not been ready to work with, and that is the church and politics. Christianity, religion and politics and such like things. And we are going to deliberate deeply in this to know when and how the church should play and the role the church should play in the entire activity of politics and governance. My name is Paul Gregory. I'll be driving this program right now for the next 1.5 hours. We will be talking to you about the church and politics. I'm not alone in studio because we have to talk and discuss this, and because we cannot discuss alone. So I have a very able man of God. I'll give him some time to introduce himself, to tell us where he is from, and really why politics and where is the church. I want to welcome him so that we may be in a position to kick off this topic this beautiful day. Karibu sana, my friend.
Thank you, Paul. Yep. Welcome, viewers. Praise God. I'm Reverend Daniel Washira. I serve God in Apostolic Faith Church in Mwihoko under Bishop Peter Gatimo. And I want to appreciate what God is doing. And the reason as to why I'm here is on the position of church and politics. Feel most welcome, because this is the right platform where we can be able to place our views and also to ensure that everyone is not left behind. And the politics at the church
is, the president is doing that, the MCA is doing this, the area manager, they are called Mukasa somewhere, that they are doing this or that. So you have the voice. So you have every reason to sit back and wait, so that we are going to get what we really need to know. Give us a description, just a word on church and politics. There is religion and politics. How can you distinguish the two?
Well, we are going to look at this issue from a biblical point of view,
yes,
and also in the layman point of view.
Okay.
When it comes to politics, it can be defined as activities aimed at improving one's status, or want to rise to power.
Okay.
And those activities, they are called politics. When it comes to church, church is assembly of God's elect. The fact remains that in the society, we are living with people, and these people, they are also part of the church.
Okay.
So you cannot be able to separate the politics and the church, since we have the areas of influence. Where does church play its role in terms of politics, and also doing its right thing in the society to ensure that politics are positive, and that narrative is taken positive. So politics is all about activities aimed at improving one's status,
Okay.
to rising to power. They can also be activities aimed by the government in order for it to survive in its governance. Those are the politics. Church is the assembly where we have come as elect.
Okay.
And that is the view that we need to bring together,
Okay.
and also to see what is the focus. Where is the church's position in terms of politics? Where should we lie? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. That is the definition we get from Reverend Wachira. I don't know what definition you have as a person, but it's good that we are here. We are going to get to understand this. We have the definition of politics, religion, and church according to our guest this morning. Importantly, is how is the church and how should the church involve itself in these activities now that it is it's an assembly, as you've put it. It is an assembly that has the same people who are in politics, I want to guess, because these people who are in politics, they belong to some religion, right? So what is the role of the church in the same, governance and politics for that matter?
Okay, thank you, Paul. If you allow me, I can refer the biblical point of view by bringing the word government into praise, because it's all about politics that usually brings life to government. And that's why we need to understand what is the role of the church in government, in politics. Now, in the book of Isaiah, if you allow me to read my Bible here.
Yes.
This is King James, New King James Version. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. The Bible says concerning the government. 6, it says, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, not shoulders, his shoulder. And his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. From that we can be able to narrow down and get this kind of child, the son given unto us, whose government will be on his shoulders. He will be called what? He will be called Wonderful. That means where church is, then the government should have the wonderful moment. The word wonderful now brings the wonders in existence towards the influence. So the role of church is now exerting the influence. The wonderful influence in the government. And then he will be called counselor. Church will also play a role, as we are going to see the role of the church in country that they need to have their own king who looks like any other person of the world. That's when it was delegated for them to have their own kingdom, of which they choose, and they usually make the voting process and whatever, the electioneering process. And those are the scenario that brought the democracy, the government of man. Now, from that we can be able now to narrow down the government and the role of church. But it is also good to see if in the New Testament we can be able also to get such a definition. In the book of if you allow me, Paul, in the book of First Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 28, is one of the best area that defines. It says like this. And God has set some in the church. First, apostles. Secondly, prophets. Thirdly, teachers. After that, miracles. Then gifts of healing. Helps. Governments. Diversities of tongue. So we can be able now to see that government is part of what was given in the church. So government is very important, yes. And we cannot be able to remove politics in the church.
Oh, yes. Very well explained. I'm a bit...
The church as assembly. We as members of the church, yes. We have dual citizenship.
Okay. Okay.
You cannot say that you are a heavenly citizen and you are not another citizen.
Okay.
One, I'm a Kenyan.
Yes.
And one thing you need to understand that I'm a Christian. So I'm a heavenly citizen.
Yes.
As well as a Kenyan citizen. So I need to observe the rules of the Constitution as dictated by the Constitution of Kenya, which is the government. Okay. So we need to ensure, we need to understand that church, it forms the government. Okay. Okay. So government cannot be run without the church. Yes. Church is part of the parcel, okay, because it has a voice. As we are going to see, its role later. If you allow me, Paul, yes, we need to educate our people and to let them know that church just comes in to exert the positive influence in politics.
Okay, 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 okay.
Then those who are praying politics, they are those people who are seeking positions in that government to do what? To exact godly governance in that country. And that is the main objective where church is influencing the politics.
All right, very well. Yes. This is very important to know because, brother, at the end of the day, a few years ago, if we shall be mentioning these pastors and bishops and men of God who are really putting the governments on toes. We have seen governments come up and suppresses the church, you know, actually chasing away the church, leaving the countries and the leadership of these particular countries in turmoil, you know, very bad leadership, and the church could have maybe played a role. Do you think there is something that the church was supposed to do that they never did, and they really have to, you know, come up and do it, maybe to correct at any given time? That is one. Two, some people, you know, some leaders have come up to, you know, like dismiss the church. Like the other day, we had Bishop Olesapit telling politicians not to come into you know, speak in the pulpits, right? Do you think by so doing we are separating the two?
Oh, well, the positive part of it is only where there is positive influence of the church in the politics, but not politics influence in the church.
Sure.
Now, if you look at it, the two, they are inseparable. Let's come now to the understanding, the schools of thought. There are people who believe that they can do away without, only in terms of spiritual matters, then something is wrong. If you check the book of Luke 2:52, it defines the growth of Jesus, the 4 dimensions of growth of each and every person who want to be related with Christ, where church has its bedrock foundation. Jesus increased in wisdom. That is mental growth.
Yes.
So if it comes to mental growth, then we need something that is shaping the mind. What is it? That is education.
Sure.
So we cannot say that education is not needed in the church. Jesus had it. Number 2, physical. He increased in stature. Physical growth. That's why we need to eat healthy food, eat healthy curry.
Okay.
We don't need to engage ourselves into drug. We need to teach about all those things.
Okay.
That is a dimension church cannot be able to say that it cannot go, it is not going to teach or even to participate.
Oh, yeah.
Because if we are going to have an health community, we are going to have people who are not going to deliver for this economy.
Correct, yeah.
And that's where the church needs to start. We go now to that dimension, which is increase in favor with God, which is spiritual growth.
Yes, yes.
That's where the church is concentrating so much. But let's see the point where Jesus increased spiritually. It is well and it is good to grow spiritually, because we cannot have a vacuum. It's not needed in the church. Politics is not needed. It depends which narrative has been brought in the church to affect the spiritual. We cannot be able to mix the two issues, since what is spiritual need to be addressed spiritually. What is politics need to be addressed politically.
Correct.
And the voice of the church spiritually, it is a very, very important voice that every person, every citizen need to understand that you need that spiritual part. The fourth dimension is the social growth. And this is where church is participating as well. And you can see various churches, they are really working on it. The social growth, in finding favor with men. You are working towards improving humanity.
The lives of the people.
The lives of people. And the lives of people in our nation, they're very essential. So church has to understand that politics is there to exist. Politics need to understand church is there to exist.
Yes, yes.
And the two, they must work together to bring what? To bring godly governance. Godly governance, because that's what God is intending to have. As we have read in the book of Isaiah, Jesus at the end of the age will own the government on his shoulders. Every ruler will be under Jesus Christ's dominion.
Oh yes, just at that very gate, with this matter comes in now. Do you think? Maybe you can confirm this? Jesus was born within, killed. You know, I don't know whether that is also interest in politics and all that, and up to the death. Do you think Christ was in an environment of politics?
Absolutely correct.
Yes.
Allow me to just take you through something that you need to understand.
Yes, yes.
That God from beginning is the author and the owner of the government.
Okay.
He was the king. He ruled man till man demanded to have his own government. And man has been working hard. And this is something that my viewers need to understand. Man, even me and you, we are really working hard to dethrone God. If at all we are not having this spiritual understanding who God is. But if you look at it, Jesus was born, as you have asked Paul, Jesus was born within the environment of politics. Very true.
Yes.
But who was in the leadership realm that time? Is Herod.
Is Herod, yeah.
What did he do? When he heard about the good news, when he heard about the news from the wise men, the men from East, and he heard that there is a star that has been found, that thing, it really evoked anger, bitterness, and a search for killing, till there are some children who lost their lives as a result of Jesus being born. So politics, if it is not going to be interpreted positively, it can cause death, it can cause bloodshed, it can cause chaos, simply because people or human or man don't want God to be enthroned, but want men to be enthroned. And the point of the controversial part is where man want to dethrone God. And God cannot be dethroned. He remains forever the ruler. And that's where the church is now coming in to ensure that even if I'm a leader, I need God. I need church. I need the spiritual
Okay,
guidance.
okay.
I need the counseling.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why Jesus was born within the politics realm. And you find Jesus, when he came, he was able even to rebuke the same government. He told Herod,
Yes.
go and tell that fox that I'm here. I'm here today, tomorrow, and forever. You see, Jesus, if you check those statements of Jesus, go and tell that fox. Actually, from the ethical point of view, it looks like an abuse. But Jesus was just telling the king who was there that he don't need to occupy the position of God.
No.
He need to ensure God is enthroned. He need to acknowledge that God must be there. Otherwise, if government is there without God, it's just like a fox. It is just making noise.
Okay.
We need God.
We need God. That's how. If Jesus was born in an environment of politics, then politics belongs to all of us, and that the church has a role to play in this. If you look at the politics scenarios, many lives has been lost within the political tussle and such like things. And this shows us that if you look at politics of the day, like when Jesus was born in that time, lives were lost, children lost their lives. And it is because of somebody's personal maybe interest and greed on that. Because like Herod, I think, sometimes I sit down and think about Herod and I wonder, why was Herod killing children when this kid was just born the other day and he's already a king himself? Why was he killing children? And if a king was being born as a baby then, how was this child going to remove Herod on his throne? So you see, I find it a bit barbaric, so to speak. Do you think at the end of it all, politics of the day must be governed, actually must be, the church must be the light of all this, so that these interests of politicians like the Herod, I just want of view, if I may say. And my question to you is, do you think there's anything we can do to the church, I mean to the of course to the church and to the politics of the day, to see into it that this element of selfishness, this element of greed, wanting to like lead forever? Yeah.
Well, let me just highlight that when man demanded to have his own government, which is democracy, there is one thing that you need to notice from there. God is spirit. So there was misunderstanding. The role of God in terms of leading or governing people, and the role of man governing people. So there is always in human society, in humanity, the superiority conflicts. The superiority conflict is where those who are in the realm of power, they just want to retain that position. They don't want to relinquish it. And this is something you can be able to identify, even in Africa, in our own nation, that they don't want to relinquish that position. And if they relinquish it, they want to give it to somebody who is close to them, relative, and this now brings a lot of controversy, fight and conflict. Now, where does church now come in? Jesus, when he is predicted in the book of Isaiah, the decree of the president of that nation, whatever he issues as law of the land, it is godly influenced. It has the backup of God. Because king, they have power. And that's why you see, let's take an example. As you have indicated, Paul, we have people who have lost their lives, properties, displacement, issues that are happening. And then the question we are asking, where is the church? Then, if church is existing, then there are people who claim that they hear the voice of God. God has said, this will be president, this will be the king. And then, if that person is not for your tribe, then another thing, we are having so much of superiority conflict. If it is a person to be in the realm, must be my tribe. That is now tribalism. We are bringing a lot of controversy. And that's what we have said. When God was dethroned and removed, that's when the problem arose of self-interest, which brought the issues of bloodshed. But if the government of the current nature allows church to have its say and its voice in the government, and to exert this positive influence of the politics, I tell you, Paul, this will be the best nation, the best continent, and then we are going to have the lowest mortality rate as a result of politics.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. You are missing a lot if you're not with us. And please tell those who are not watching this, those who are not following up this, please come on board. And especially those who want to be presidents and MPs and senators and all these leaders. Please, this is your forum. This is where you're supposed to send in your views, questions. If you really need to participate in this, you can talk to us. Yeah, this is Nisi Television. Please send your views and questions on your phones, Facebook, and YouTube. Please send in. We're going to have a short break, and after that, I will allow the Reverend Bashira to tell us if really politics is a dirty game. But after this short break. Are you looking for a serene place to settle and invest? Well, Imani Plaza got you covered. The plot rests on a 40 by 80 land with ready title deeds. It has 2-story flats with 4 one-bedrooms and 2 bed-sitters. The backyard has a well-furnished 3-bedroom home with an ample parking space of up to 3 cars. There is enough water, including clean water, borehole, and electricity. There is also a large solar panel to save your electricity cost. It is located in Juja Masto, 500 meters from Juja Farm Main Road. There is access to schools, churches, and other social amenities as it is a fast-growing area. The whole package goes for 11 million Kenya shillings only. Hurry while the offer lasts. To book a site visit, call us on 0112 357 744 or 0714 159 967. Yes, to book a visit, call on 0112 357 744 or 0714 159 967. The OICOS Initiative. OICOS Initiative is under the umbrella of Every Home for Christ. Every Home for Christ is a non-profitable organization that operates in various counties in Kenya, including Mombasa, Kisumu, Nairobi, among others, and is dedicated to sharing the truth and love of Jesus with everyone, everywhere. EHC mission is to serve the church by equipping and mobilizing believers to participate in sharing the truth and the love of Jesus with every person and home on earth. We have ongoing training, prayer mobilization, and outreaches in Kajiado, Machakos, Makueni, Kitui, Kilifi, Watamu, Marsabit, Isiolo, Kisumu, Eldoret, and Western region. The EHC vision that every person on earth would have a genuine opportunity to respond to the truth and the love of Jesus. The 3 unalterable convictions: the Great Commission, the unity in Christ's body, and the power of prayer. The 3 unalterable convictions. This is OICOS Initiative under the umbrella of Every Home for Christ. You can find us on 0741 65 5608. You can also visit our website at www.everyhomeforchristke.org. The UONGOZI initiative, Every Home for Christ.
Are you tired looking for an office for your business? Worry no more. La Estate Management Limited is here for you. For any business office or leasing of offices. We are located along Mombasa Road near JKIA in Gateway Mall, 4th floor, office number E27A. Our offices are open from Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call us on 0714 134 574 or 0112 092 915. You can also email us through laestatelimited@gmail.com. La Estate Management Limited, home of immense property value.
Work together. It's like church is the right leg and politics is the left leg. So the two must go together. So you can imagine if you want the church to go away and politics to remain, please, you're missing something. Or the church to, the politics to go and church remain. Maybe the church can remain and politics go, because the church can swallow politics and work with it, but politics cannot. This is just but my take. Maybe before I go further, just have to appreciate a few of you who are watching, just on behalf of others. Ruben Nderitu, watching from Githurai 45. Elizabeth Kinu, Isaac Shalom, and this is powerful. Pastor Esther Agatune, are you there? A question? Somebody's asking a question. Thank you so much for those who are watching, for those who get for your views and questions. Please just drop the questions. We are going to answer that. And if you feel you can participate in talk by sending in your views, please do so, and we shall be in a position to work with your views, correct where necessary, and work with what you will have brought in. With me is Reverend Washira in studio, and he is giving us the topmost education about this. And I want to send a very strong question to him. Somebody is asking, is politics then a dirty game?
It's a very good question, my viewers. I would like to just put that narrative the way it has been put, especially in our nation, that politics is a dirty game. If we go back now to the biblical point of view, politics is not a dirty game. Those who inserted that narrative, they inserted that narrative with the personal objective.
Okay.
But it is not capturing the godly perspective as viewed by the church. Why? As a pastor today, I need that politician in the church to do what? One, when I'm giving counseling, I need to understand that I'm giving the right person the right counsel for him to go and do and exactly implement that counsel for the sake of goodness of our nation.
Yes.
If the narrative that politics is a dirty game is godly, then something is questionable. And that's why we need to elicit in our mind that it's a dirty game. It is not a dirty game. It is only a dirty game if the power behind that politics is not godly. But so long as the power behind that politics is godly, it cannot be a dirty game, because in God is righteousness, cleanliness. There is nothing like that before God. So if you are telling me that it's a dirty game, then God does not apply there. It only applies in another secular, and the secular means absence of God. So it is only applicable in the secular platform. And that can only be said by a person who does not know what stands for the church, what is the voice for the church, what is the voice for the nation. As a pastor, I need those professors. I need those minister cabinet secretaries. I need them in the church. Because they are who? They are mothers. They are fathers. They are children. They are friends. And that is what we call the social increment, favor with men. If there is a weapon, Paul, that has been affecting our nation today, is that narrative
of dirty.
Of dirty game.
Okay.
Why? It really separates church from politics.
Sure.
It is a long spell from demonic world.
Okay.
To do what? To cause a lift between the church and the politics.
Oh, yeah.
That person who is a politician there, call him Baba, call him Dr. Ruto, is a father of a child.
Correct.
That is also an uncle, is a brother to somebody.
Very true.
So how can you tell me he is playing a dirty game? And the children they are watching,
Yes.
as society we are watching, then there is something we are missing. It is a misconception. It is a long narrative. It needs to be a lesson in the mind of people. And my viewers, I just beseech you, as God has said, the government will be on the shoulder of Christ.
Yes.
We must enthrone Christ, and we must ensure the government is on the shoulder of Christ, who have been given to us as a child, as a son, and that's where we can be able to see what is the role of the church, of the theocracy, theology. Where is the Lord? And those are the issues that we need to understand, that politics is not a dirty game.
Right, I'm saying this because not one or two or three pastors I've met on my way, in my mission, looking deep and deeper into this topic. And the 3 or 4 pastors, one of them told me, when I asked him about the church and governance, politics and religion and all that, this person told me, I don't do politics. And you look at that person, he's frowned and he's like, no, he doesn't want to talk about politics. Yet he is a leader. He is a church, church leader. So I wonder how rather church leaders, as you're putting it, should work on maybe embracing politics afresh and avoid the aspect and the element of dirtiness in the politics. I also talked to a certain aspirant. He lost actually in the last elections in Kenya. And then he told me, politics is a dirty game, and you see, we did not play our game well. So I was like, what do you mean? He lost because politics is a dirty game. Under that, he never played his cards well. So you see, in politicians, in the minds of the politician, is that they know clearly that politics is a dirty game. And dirty game means what? Maybe you'll tell us this. Maybe dirty games means maybe killing, or maybe eliminating somebody for you to come in, or maybe working to manipulate wananchi for you to come in. I don't know. I wanted to talk about this. So the element of politics being a dirty game is what I think Reverend wants to, and we want to erase this from their minds. What do you think about that?
Well, my viewers, we need to stand in a candid position as church, as people. Yeah. If me as a pastor, I can say it's a dirty game and I have a vote, then I prayed the dirty game.
Oh, yeah. You participated?
I participated. Yeah. So the person who speaks is dirty game, or to say, pastors, we don't speak politics. It is the concept of the word and the meaning of word politics in our nation. It means another thing. And that is the area we are having a problem. Okay. Now, you have asked me, Paul, to define maybe the dirty game. And I have tried to explain from my point of view.
Yes.
I'm a professional.
Yes.
I'm a CPAK member.
Oh, yes.
And the reason as to why this area cannot be neglected is even in that organization I work for, there is politics.
Oh, yeah.
To put somebody in terms of leadership, you need to exact influence of leadership.
Okay.
In that.
Yeah.
What are the mountains of influence where church need to be incorporated? Other than going far, we can just mention them, if you allow me, Paul.
Yes.
One is religion. If we have long religion, we have long politics. When you are told about Martin Luther King,
Yes.
you are aware. It is because of the influence he left.
Okay.
The second mountain is the family, where we started to say, today,
Okay.
our families must be incorporated in the church. As Joshua said,
Yes.
me and my house,
Okay.
we are going to serve God. That is the politics. Politics, if they are dirty, then our nation is dirty.
Is dirty.
Our people are dirty. Please, I should not be counted in the dirty game because I'm not dirty and I'm not serving a dirty God.
Sure.
So I'm there for the politics, but with the mind.
Yes.
Politics
Yes.
is not a
It's
dirty
not a dirty
game. The other one is education, to mention.
Yes.
Education is shaping the mind. The other one is media,
Yes.
as we are having, and even here we are,
Yes.
we are in the media platform.
Yes.
And you can also, you can see that there is dynamic change. Even television now I have gone to the YouTube. That is a media influence. The other one is arts and the entertainment. And that's where we find our celebrities, those people who have their talents being activated in the society. The last one is business and the finance. As I have said, I'm a member of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya. And that's where we need to exact. Even as a reverend, as a pastor, I always mention it in the church, that we cannot eliminate these mountains from the church, because they make the church, they form the church, and they are the one that causes the government of the day to stand.
Okay,
Sure.
very well, very well. That is so good. Reverend Wachira, my question now comes in. I don't know whether you have mentioned this earlier, but now the following question is, does the church has a role to play in the church? If you have not mentioned that, maybe you can add on something on that. Does the church has a role really to play in the church, just to add on?
Absolutely, if you allow me, Paul.
Yes.
Thank you very much, my viewers. Church has a very big role, but I'm going to mention few of the roles. The first role of the church is exerting positive influence.
Okay.
And we get influence from the Bible. We have Moses. He was a prophet, a king.
Okay.
And also he was a priest. I always thank God because God has given us examples.
Sure.
We have Elijah in times of Ahab. He was able to go against wrong government. Those are the issues that we need to exact positive influence. That is the role of the church. The other one is promoting frameworks of engagement. There is no way that we need development in the nation and we are speaking about disregarding the government, dishonoring the government. Sure. Every ruler who have been appointed in the people, in the society, that represent God's voice and God's choice. Okay, sure. Because that's what we are there. We need to engage the framework. That framework will bring, it will be based on a biblical norms and the values. And that's where we need to go. We need to ensure that we have people who know our norms and the values. Okay. Church has also another role in terms of teaching. We have the theology. Is that theology godly? Does it have the caliber or the equip? Does it equip our people with the right positive mind that will exact positive influence in our nation? Okay. So, you want to tell me that the politicians should be eliminated from the church? No. We need to ensure and capture and also welcome all those. Maybe another idea, if you allow me, Paul, is that church is a citizen. We need to view church as a citizen. It has a role as a citizen.
yes.
Now, church is a citizen. I'm a Kenyan by birth.
Okay.
I need to ensure that I'm standing there for my nation.
Okay.
So we need to balance between our dual citizenship. As a Kenyan, as a heavenly citizen.
Correct.
I need to safeguard that nature because it's part of the parcel of the church.
Sure.
So church should ensure, as you had mentioned earlier, why should a politician come to the pulpit to deceive?
Yes.
That is not allowed. Why should a politician come to the pulpit and speak lies or speak lewd or cause turmoil in the society? That is not the way forward. Church is also a peacemaker. Blessed are those who make peace, for they are going to be called sons of God. We are sons of God. Church has that position as a peacemaker. The other part is church is also a participant. Let me just say that we don't say that our members should not practice politics. That is wrong.
Okay.
I have an MC in the church.
Oh, yes.
I have women rep with the church. The point maybe you are asking is for that person who lost. They played the cards long.
Yes.
That is very long narrative because in this journey or in this living, life is all about competition. And in competition, there is no loser. Even it is you become a loser when you choose to be a loser.
Okay.
In any competition, and this my viewers should note, there is no loser. You either win or you learn.
Yes, you either win
or learn.
Oh, yes.
So it is a position that church should govern and it should be defended.
Yes.
That person who lost,
Yes.
he learned something from the loss.
Oh, yes.
So it is you cannot become the best person today. It is a practice.
Oh, yes.
And it is the same thing. I did not become a pastor just from nowhere. It is a journey. That journey, it is not just a step. It is a journey.
Oh, yes.
You need to ensure that you accept. It's not a dirty game. Even you can play your cards, and your cards can fail. Even that's what Bible says,
yes.
that you can be able to prepare horses for the battle, but only God gives victory. And that's the position of the church. The other role for the church is church has a voice. It has a say.
It has a say.
Church has a say. Even today, I can advocate and say that this country today is well much aware that the government of the day is there because of the voice of the church. When the church is silent, as we have witnessed in the previous electioneering period, we have been facing chaos. Position of the church as a voice is praying, interceding, ensuring there is right counsel,
Yes.
diverting every voice from hell. Any chaotic issue that might be brought in the society, in the villages where churches are.
Yes.
And that's why we need to have those assemblies in the village,
Sure.
exercising the voice of God by declaring the blood of Jesus in each and every realm.
Oh, yeah.
Why? The voice of Jesus speaks better things than any other voice. Maybe lastly is just to say that church is a mediator.
Oh, yes.
It brings together. And that's where the role of the church need to be understood. The church mediates and it brings together.
Oh, yes.
We build bridges. We had a narrative, a document that we were to push,
Yes.
which was a BBI,
Yes.
building bridges initiative.
Yes.
That church has to be there.
Yes.
And that's why it failed, because it was taken on a political arena only.
Yeah.
If it was taken to the church,
Yes.
then church would have a voice and they say, no, if it goes this way, it is going to bring this way.
Oh, yes.
But from where we are today, we are the one who builds bridges,
Oh, yes.
connectivity, and mediates.
Sure.
church has its position in the politics.
Reverend, what are the possible ways, I mean, areas, just for the purposes of a politician who are right now stamping their chest for being there in position, and they really want to push the church aside, and then he may, or she, or he may ask, which are the areas that the church is supposed to tackle in the governance now they are in the office? Which are possible areas do you think the church are supposed to, man like 24 hours?
Wonderful. That is a very good question, Paul. And a very, very important area we need to discuss. That church, we pray for them. We pray for their families.
Okay.
And we need to ensure that is our position. The point maybe where there is that conflict, and the politicians, they are saying church, they are not praying their role. I would view it in a different perspective. That voice is doomed to fail. Why? Church must have a voice. Then politicians, they say, can only be weighed in the weight of what is the behind of the saying. As a politician, you have said, churches are making wrong decisions, making wrong steps. Why? If the ideology behind, the rationale behind your statement has a long influence, then it cannot be adopted. 24/7 church is a watchman.
Oh, yes.
Church is a watchman. We take control of our borders in the spiritual realm, in the physical realm. We really stand on our position to pray, to ensure there is no evil intrusion in our country.
Yes.
Look at even the vices, all the issues, the perversions that are in this country. Who have brought them? Some of them have gotten their entry through the gate of politics. We must study firm and say no. If our say of no, and also areas that are aimed at bringing peace. And those are the issues and the pillars that we need to start with as church.
Yeah, somebody is asking, is the church, rather does the church has the mandate of especially public participation, for that matter? Can the church be used by the government to take the information that they need to do, like to give the information to the society during public participation, like what we had in the BBI thing? Was the church involved? And you think that is another role of the church, to reach the people with the information, rather information from the church, to get to the people and take the information to the church, to the people?
Well, I'm going to bring it in a view that information is power.
Sure.
Information is powerful. So the information that we are disseminating to the community, it is either going to shape the community positively, or it will bring the community to a standstill in terms of development, or in terms of doing things. For instance, allow me to just go from the biblical point of view. We have two people here who are fighting. We have Ahab, who is promoting paganism in Israel, who is promoting false prophets. Then we have Elijah, who is advocating godly voice and a godly agenda. And these people, they are fighting. The two, they are indifference. Now look at the information that is there. Information that is exerted to these people by the president or the king, it was totally wrong.
Oh, yes.
But the people perceived that information and they entered into wrong perversion, and the whole country entered into a wrong economical platform, wrong agendas. It was totally chaotic in Israel. They went for a drought of 3.5 years. Now, if this person, even if being alone, his voice was not being heard. He stood strong. He defended godly voice. And then, the information he passed to these people, in the later, when there was a contest at Mount Carmel, what happened? He told these people, if God is God, serve him. Then if the pagan or the Baal, they are God, serve them. And my viewers, we don't need to be mixed up in this. We need to just say that government can use its channels to communicate to its citizens. At the same time, it should not charge as part of the parcel of the organs that deliver information to the people. Because if that is going to happen, then we have two rifts. Church will keep on fighting with the politicians. Politicians will keep on fighting. And that is why we have a problem even in African countries. But I thank God even for this platform that God has given us. We need to enlighten our people that politics and church, they are inseparable. And Jesus had own government. He had to set the 12 disciples. Even me as a pastor, I have a board of the church. Correct. That is the government. We are guided by what? Procedures and the policies in the church. What are those? Is that not a constitution?
It is.
Every organization has its own code of ethics, code of conduct. Correct. That is constitution. But anything that violates the prime constitution, then it is now void.
Well, thank you so much. Telling you this is very well organized, and I thank God for this platform, as you said. And it is a platform for you to learn more. And if you think you have anything you can assist us to share out this information, please, you are invited on board. We are going also to have another commercial break, and after that we shall be deepening ourselves now into actual politics and the church. But after this short break.
Are you tired looking for an office for your business? Worry no more. La Estate Management Limited is here 15. You can also email us through laestatelimited@gmail.com. La Estate Management Limited, home of immense property value.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Hello, everybody. It's a sound of praise and worship
Jehovah,
to whom created us. Join me, Joy Temba, every Sunday morning from 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. live on Nisi Television for live Sunday service that is filled with the presence of God through worship, word, and encouragement.
If you gotta be for me, we'll love you, Lord. You will live for.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard of cases in the society of people murdering their spouses and their children? What about human beings throwing themselves off buildings? In our universities today, it's a den of crime. Students in drugs, students in habits like homosexuality, which also cuts across in our society today. What do you think? Is there anyone to blame? Do you think it's a major issue in our society? Welcome to the Nebal Show, a show whereby we unmask matters happening in the society, matters which the society shies away from speaking about. And this is a place where we journey with you as an individual and largely in the society to find the healing of the soul and the empowerment of the spirit. My name is Kesh Susan, I will be your host every Tuesday from 9:30 to 11:30 here at Nisi Television, where we transform life through leader. Welcome to the Divulge Show.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you. Karibu tena. This is TASWIRA ya SIASA na UONGOZI ni duniani actually. An eye on leadership and the role of the church. That is what we are dissecting. That is what we are deepening ourselves into and trying to understand who is the church, where is the governance of this world. The church was so strong such that presidents really wanted to eliminate the church, to move the church in their countries, because the church was the eye. The church was pushing for the good behaviors, good leadership, and all this. And that is why we are coming up with this program to enlighten us on matters governance. What is our role? What is the role of the church? How is God going? How are we going to ensure that our governments are led by the norms and the teachings of the Bible, and that the governorship of our country and any given government is led by the Word of God? With me is Reverend Washira, a very able man of God, and if you have just been following this up, he's been chewing these things so well. I've been just swallowing. It was so easy for me to understand this. And back to you, Reverend Washira. We have seen areas where the church is supposed to stand in. We have seen where the church is supposed, and the roles that the church is supposed to play. And a question now comes in when and how and who is the world or the people. What are they? Who are they going to listen to? Because now there is a politician and there is the church leader, right? In our flow coming down, we have discovered that the two cannot be separated. But now, who is superior, and who has who is superior for that matter? We know the government has a constitution, and the church has a supreme constitution, which I want to guess is the Bible. So who comes first? My take is that the church comes after, before, then politicians. Who are we going to listen to in terms like today we have Ruto and we have you in the church? Who are we going to listen, and what are we going to listen to?
Thank you, Paul, and my viewers. Allow me to just indicate the biblical point of view and the truth of the matter in hand today. From the beginning, God was speaking to man directly. Man sinned, and then you remember all what happened. So God initiated the priesthood system, and then you see that there was some mediation between God and the man. When he spoke through the priest, God was not able to speak to this person directly. There was somebody in between, the priesthood. Now we go down to another level where God initiated and brought prophets. Prophets, they are people who are able to receive voice from God direct and had to disseminate the same information from God the way it is without diluting it to men. After that, people demanded a king. You remember there was a time, even the children of Israel, they had to tell Moses, please speak to us. We don't need to hear that voice of God. So they had to demand for a king, and they were given Saul. As you remember, if that is the order of communication, then we come now to application of godly point of view to the current today. That God speaks to people through priests, through prophets, and also through the king. Who is the king? Is the choice of people. And that's where we are bringing politics. That means God, as he have said in the Bible, that the heart of a king is in his hand. If you violate what the king's directive is, then we have a problem. If you're not going to pray for that king, there is a problem. Because he might give directives that will cross that church, that will affect you, that will cause a lot of chaos in the society, and that's the church will not have a say. Now to your question, Paul. And this is where we need to bring things on the table in black and white.
Yes.
What is this that the church need to listen to this, or that apostle, you must listen to him or to her?
Yes.
In that matter, you must listen to the king.
Okay.
You cannot say that you are not going to have a problem. You are not going to have a problem with the king, and then you tell me you are at peace.
No.
Paul, just take it as an example.
Yes.
What is the problem with Israel when they chose a young person from the Jeroboam family? What happened? There was chaos. They ignored the instructions. They chose a young person who did not have experience, and then they brought a problem. They ignored that voice. That voice you can ignore. It can bring trouble. Church should not participate to bring information that is conflicting, that is fighting the government in the land. We had such communications, even the directives, previous era of Corona, and we had to obey. We had to accept that what government is saying is part of us, health is part of us. We cannot just say that we are so much spiritual, and that we are ignoring that directive. As much as we believe in power of healing, we cannot ignore the fact that we have the government that has a say. So let's obey both, and let us listen to them.
Okay. Yes, that means we cannot do away with the two, as the word has always been flowing from the beginning. So we have to listen to them. That is what we are getting from Reverend Wachira, and that is a fact, because if you cannot listen to the king, then you are doomed to fail. It is a concern also on what people should listen to. Actually, what should people listen to? For instance, if the president woke up today and said, now the country, I have decided as the president, I want this country to be okay, maybe a massacre or something, and that my people, those who voted for me, we are going to fight those who are in opposition. That is, I think, what are we supposed to listen to? I think that is what we should also try to sieve and see. Whatever the MCA is telling you, and if it's ungodly, then we should do away with it. So I think it is also important to note that if we must listen to them, then we should also choose what to listen and what to act and how to act after listening. I think so. Yeah.
Well, Paul, allow me to just tell my viewers that the Lord's Prayer defines everything. The area it says, or where we usually pray, thy kingdom come. We always request for the kingdom of God to come. As it is done in heaven, be done here on earth. Anything that happens on earth, it is subscribed in heaven. So it starts in heaven. And the role of the church, that's where now the role of the church comes. If there arises a king, and let it not happen, and if there is such agenda, let them not see the dawn of the day. In Jesus' name. If there is any such a government that comes with the mentality of massacre, of ill will to the people, it means church had slept somewhere, did not subscribe to the will of God. Because what can be released to this nation, to any country, it has to be asked by the rightful person who asked for that kingdom to come. Only those who advocate Christ. And that's why he said, as you pray, thy kingdom come. We need to ask for that kingdom. Yeah.
Right, thank you so much. Now, do you think the church is on the right track in Africa first? And then do you think we are on the right track? The church is on the right track in Kenya?
I have two views. One, I'm going to say the right channel and the right track for the church is yet to come.
Yet to come?
It's yet to come. Yes. However, we really appreciate our spiritual fathers who are existing in our nation, in Africa, for the path they have prepared for this great revival. Why do I say this? We are still having infight in the house. And any divided house cannot stand. We have infight in the kingdom of God. This they have, they say, this they have, that say, and those kind of fight. Any house that is fighting cannot stand. So if church is fighting another church, and they are all confessing and professing Jesus Christ, then there is a problem. That means the knowledge of unity has not come in the church, and thus missing the right path. The unity of faith, the unity of knowing Jesus as Son of God, where we need to build. Somebody is asking somewhere. And then what happens? If there is division somewhere, even if there is division in between me and you, then we cannot be able even to deliver.
Sure.
Look, even the family. Family is the center platform. It is the epitome of the church.
Correct.
Family. If the family is
divided,
expect the church is divided. That's why we are having this kind of scenarios of different religions. People are going back to traditions. Things that are happening, they are really manifesting that church is missing a step. But what will happen? Maybe I come now to what the Bible says, that Jesus did not bring peace. He said, I brought sword. To do what? To separate. He brought sword. He did not bring peace. And he is the Prince of Peace. That is a message for another day. Because that's where we need to advocate, and my viewers need to understand the voice of Jesus still remains even today. So that does not mean that where there is division, Jesus is not there. No. Jesus is still there. He is doing his work, and we need to ensure that church is on the right track. However, I really appreciate our forefathers, like Bishop Peter Gatimu, all those who have been there. There are those people who have died really fighting for this good thing. The church is heading to a great revival. And the nation will come together until the government will be bestowed on the shoulder of Jesus Christ.
Okay. Thank you so much. Is the church on the right track? If the church is on the right track, then you are on the right track. If it is not, then you should strive to check on that. We thank you so much for these insights. Now, there is this word on air in Kenya that the church, the government of the day, is rooted, from the church. That like the president and the deputy president, they come from the church. Now there is word on air that the government could have bought, have bought the church somewhere. It's just something on air. This one is coming from the opposition, that the church has something that is not very good to them. So they are kind of, dirtifying or implicating the church in the governance of today. Do you think it is true, first, if the presidency and the governance of the day in Kenya is rooted in the foundation of the church? Do you think so? Number two is, do you think the opposition are right by pointing fingers? Like the other day, the leader of opposition, Raila Odinga, was really pointing fingers at the Anglican Church, that the church did not come out well during the last general elections. Yeah.
Well, Paul, we need to look at that point of view in different perspectives.
Okay.
Allow me to just highlight something,
Okay.
that everyone has an opinion, but not every opinion counts. I have said,
Yes.
church is an assembly. In that church we have politicians.
Correct.
In that church we have professionals.
Okay.
We have doctors. We have people with the great honors. That politicians that you see there, they are people who attend church because they are members of church.
Okay.
They do development in the church. Now, the point which is coming here is that narrative that is in here, that church was bought in court,
Yes.
during the electioneering period.
Yes, and thereafter, I don't know how.
We can just call it, as you had said, another narrative.
Another narrative.
That is another narrative.
Okay.
And you need to know that any person who need to keep a position, who need to keep or to have that position in place,
Okay.
they didn't work hard. So if the narrative is not selling, they cannot be able to speak.
Sure.
So they keep on selling narrative. What should the church do? Maybe could be the question B. Could church now say it should not be like that? We need to understand. Let's see what are the results that we saw after that election. It is well known, and it went into the books of record that this nation is peaceful.
Okay.
Did church pray that all? Yes. How? God intervened, ensured there is peace, and that's what we need to pray, even to ensure, even those maybe who are not comfortable with it, that they are at peace. They are living at peace.
Sure.
And we are really happy because of even the opposition leader, the way he is making the statement. They are meant for the opinion that is in his hand, and they need to be analyzed on the result.
Okay.
But the result is church did pray its work, its role, and the nation was at peace. We cannot say that church did not pray. We were there, we were involved, and we really came up very well, very clearly, no matter what. However, any success that does not have a challenge, then it is not a success.
It isn't.
It is not.
Oh, yeah.
A success that does not have a resistance is not a success. So any government of the day that does not have an opposition is not government.
Sure.
And that is the system that is there. Even in heaven, there was Satan, and he had to be driven out. That's why he has been resisting us, even today.
Okay.
But church must stand firm and say, let the will of God be done.
Yes, the church prayed. Like in my mission, also in my research I was doing, before elections, a few months to elections, the churches converged. The churches met. The churches were fasting, here and there. There were caravans, going around the cities, and they were really, really praying. Now, my question here comes: is the church sleeping now that the government, that we had peaceful elections, we have a government of the choice, or her choice for that matter? Is the church doing its role now? What is the church doing at the moment? Is the church in a slumber somewhere because we can't see them praying, we can't see them converge again about the nation? Is there anything that the church is supposed to do? And if it is taking place now, where is that?
Oh, well, church is still praying.
Okay.
And we have observed, even you can observe various posters, various televisions. We have prayers and fasting.
Okay. Okay.
We are having all such kind that entails for the church to do its work. Maybe the question we need to ask ourselves in terms of church and the politics, is church still maintaining its position to sustain the same peace as it was before? Could it be that now there is involvement of personal interest in fight, or there is counter-attack of the same? Those are the questions that we need to answer. As you have indicated, church, if it fails its mandate, then the whole sustenance of the success, even if it was great, it cannot be able to stand. For us to remain in the realm of peace as a peaceful nation, let's see. If church fails, what would happen? If Martin Luther King in North and Southern America, if he did not play his role and to influence the 250,000 people towards the city square, if he was not able to deliver that message to ensure that the government accepts. I was just seeing the other day that they even took his birthday as a holiday after assassination. Why? It's an honor. So the government of the day need to honor the church. And even if it is not honoring all the church, they need to ensure that they embrace those prayers, they give them peace, protect them. If there's crusades, they just protect, they ensure there is the harmony. And also, there is still more work. It's a journey. We need to sustain that peace. It's a journey. Remember, the enemy is not asleep. He's roaming like a lion to devour.
Well, thank you so much. Just as a parting shot, what is possible solutions, and what should we expect now from this? You have just begun a very good journey here. What should we expect now in the near future, in terms of the teachings, in terms of our mission to reach the people and tell them that politics is not a dirty game and all that? What should we expect now?
My prayer is that every pastor, every church need to accept politics as part of the influence in this nation. At the same time, as pastors and leaders of the society, we need to accept our children, whenever they exercise and they exhibit, that they have that talent, they have that gift, that leadership. If it is in them, we need to fan it into flame. It's part of us. If we silence them, it's like silencing Daniel. It's like silencing Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. People who were in the government administration and they were godly. It is the same. We need to have siders in the society. The objective of this is to ensure that church is accepting politics. And the politicians, they are also accepting church in its role and its mandate as a voice of society in Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I wish we continued in the next maybe a few minutes, but due to time and the schedules of the studio, we have just come to the end of our talk this morning, and we thank you for being with us, for those who have followed us, and those who have given us their views, for those who are really going to follow up this, because still you can follow it up in our YouTube channels, in the Facebook. Please be free to send in your views. Please be free to share areas where you think you can have an input, and make sure that we are together. We are going to have more and more of this program. Every Thursday we shall be here. Hopefully I will invite Reverend Washira again to finish up what he has started, and wish that we are going to make a difference in the society and in the governance of the entire world. My name is Paul Gregory. Till Thursday, God willing, tukutane. Be blessed. Bye for now.
The House